in the
Like
Illuminati. Is what you're saying.
Kendrick won all that. You know what I mean? Hands
exactly.
down.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just like mano a mano, no puppet strings involved.
No,
You know what I
no
mean?
Nah,
debate.
you can't even do that because even the Drake stands are even like, bro, he didn't even lose. What y'all talking about? He got more bop. Like, bro, like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
so like you can't get through to him at a certain point, and it's like what is y'all really on? And
I think it's just like you can't really deny that when going bar for bar, it's just like it's no question who won the battle. You just end it there. You know what I mean? Like the contextual stuff and the cultural stuff is a different conversation.
Yeah.
The actual
Kendrick,
battle, like,
Kendrick feels like he's been waiting for this forever. That dude was right like a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to hurt his kids. That was
he wearing Cortez's
on some Mike Tyson type.
Yeah.
Right. Yo, welcome to Do the Right Swing, the inaugural episode. Man, I got my family here with me, my day ones. We've been out here, man, playing, chopping it up, growing, living life, building families out here since we was yay high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
You was never yay high, bro. You was 6'4".
Yeah, that's true. Khalid was always just
right.
always standing above everybody. It was way before we had beards. None of us had beards when we met. We
definitely did have that. We did have that. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to bring this together. It's long time overdue. We've been talking about this for a minute, and so we finally brought it together to get my brothers all on one platform and really just share our golf stories, our passion for the game. We all have been impacted by golf in a positive way, and it's changed the trajectory of all of our lives. And we want to share some of the life lessons we've learned, but also golf is at a place right now to where everybody's looking at it. The culture is finally accepted golf, and so we want to definitely introduce the new people into golf and give them a platform to ask questions and make sure we all out here doing the right swing. You know what I mean? So that's the essence of this podcast. I'll go around and let the homies introduce themselves one by one. But my name is Calid B. For those that might not be in tune, golfer, rapper, marketer. I try to do a little everything, but yeah, man, get into it. Where we at? Let's go with Wyatt, man. Wyatt, what we got?
Oh, see, why you gonna put me on blast? See, here's the thing.
Straight,
what up, everybody?
straight like that. Why he said straight like that?
You know what I'm saying, bro? This man always be putting me on blast ever since. I'm about to get into this one story, but I'm gonna save it for later. But before I get into that, what's up, world? Wyatt Worthington the second here. Tapping to you live. Originally from Reynoldsburg, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. That's where I met the crew, the family, brethrens. But it was the View first, right? No, it was the Dome. I think it was actually. I think it could have been the Dome and then the View.
Yeah. I think everybody's path was a little different in terms of
yeah. But we all stem from the tree of First Tee Columbus and Jerry Hammond. Definitely gotta give a big shout out to him because I don't think there would be this this strong family and the impact that he's made on so many other lives. So definitely got to give a big shout out to him. But a little bit of my story, my background. I'm over here talking like crazy, not giving you no substance. What we was just talking about with the rap and everything. But we got a lesson from Tiger Woods. I actually had a soccer background originally, but I got hurt, and then I went to golf, and we been chasing this dream because even though y'all haven't chased it, I still feel like y'all chasing it with me. And to get inside the ropes, I feel as though there's not much representation, and that it's a lifelong dream that I always wanted to do. And there's been some trials and tribulations, as an understatement, which we'll probably get into that in this episode or the next. But at the end of the day, it kind of shows perseverance, tenacity, just in our DNA to, get to where we need to go. So, yeah, that's a little bit of my story. So we're going to kick it off to Do you do this, Khalid? Like, I don't want to take your shine.
Go ahead, you kick it off, man. You pass it on. Pass it
All
on.
right, I appreciate it. You're over here passing the time right now. All right, Carl, set it off, man. One time for the one time, bro.
Hey, one time for the one time. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
peace. Carl McKinney here. Love these brothers on this platform with me, man. We've been talking about this for a minute, so just pleased to be a part of it. I originally raised Columbus, Ohio. My husband, a father, golfer, DJ, artist, creative, IT person. So like it's just been interesting, and I trace it all back to the game of golf in terms of how I got to where I am and what I do comfortably. So like Wyatt said, we all met at this place, eventually linked up at this place called Bridgeview, which no longer exists, but it was a municipal course that abutted like a pretty, economically underserved area of central Columbus. And our golf pro, Jerry Hammond, did like a little incubating, like, after school program for a few interested brothers. And our moms, my mom and Adam's mom, just forced us into a lot of things. And like any good parent, to keep us out of the streets, they forced us into golf. And at first I was upset. I don't remember, Adam, if you said you were like, I ain't feeling this. But I was like, man, what I look like golfing? This is like the most corniest, not interesting. I don't see myself in this game. And until you met Jerry, and then you meet Jerry, the way he connects with kids, the way he connects with young men, young African American men, the village he wraps around us, it's hard to even fathom that existed, and that we were like the first beta software that came out of this program. I feel like we were very, very uniquely placed in a space and time where this game was not a thing. Tiger Woods was not a well-known or widely known entity at the time. So having those formative years, 12, 13, 14, through high school to college, to have this game to fall back on, and to let this game teach me intangible things around life, where, growing up with lower means, but mashing up against kids from country clubs, and realizing like there's level footing there. Like we're both coming at life in the same way. Just because they may be on third base doesn't make them better. The game gave me a lot of those kind of this kind of intangible realities that are just like truths about the world we live in.
Mhm.
So I appreciate the game. I appreciate you brothers for always holding me in communion with one another, and creating this space for us to all hopefully give back and give a little information around how we see golf culture writ large, and the game all kind of coalescing. So with that,
Bars.
yeah,
Damn. Yo.
nah,
Gotta
man,
snap
chill,
on
bro.
that one. Snap.
Yeah, I
Snap.
know. One time for the said one time for the one time.
Y'all
Bro.
chill,
I ain't mean
man.
like,
I've been watching Obama speeches on repeat.
I see you. I see you, man. I see you.
The thing about golf, nah, man, I'm gonna pass it over to my brother Adam. What up, bro?
So since I'm going last, I'll give you more meat, go more in depth. But yeah, Carl and I's family kind of go way back before we were born, so that's kind of the backstory there. And like he said, we were forced into a lot of things within our community, and a lot of it was at the rec centers. That was the pillar.
Yeah.
Our moms were on that freeness. You know what I mean? You taking swimming, cooking lessons.
Yeah.
And I remember vividly, and bass hooping was
Keyboards.
my background. You know what I mean? Sun up to sundown. I'm in the neighborhood. I'm gonna find a game, and I was doing that from I was 3 years old up until my mom came and got me out the streets at 7 and said, "Hey, I signed you up for golf lessons."
Mm.
And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like, "I'm not going. That's an old white man sport."
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me that look like,
And boy,
in word, if you don't get in this car
One of them.
right now. And it was up at
Your ass
Northeast
go
Rec
place
Center.
you go.
Yeah, it was up at Northeast Rec Center, man.
Yeah.
Now named Howard Rec, where Jerry was a touring pro, but came back that summer to kind of just dabble into teaching as a side hustle. And Carl and I were there along with his brother Theo, and Jerry was just taken aback at how quickly we progressed and picked the game up. And this is in the back of a field of a rec center in the hood, and actually with the PGA commercial, they came and the PGA crew looked around with their cameras and was like, "Are we safe?" You know. But then we transitioned to Bridgeview, and I think I met Khalid and Wyatt around 11. So Wyatt was at a tournament. We were playing junior ranks. We hooked up there. So that's how the family came about in Bridgeview. 9 holes on one side, then you cross a bridge. There was a driving range, and like Carl said, it was an after-school program. But basically, we had got so good that we were winning tournaments. So now you have wealthy kids driving into the hood to get golf lessons. Where in the world does that happen?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's
now you
real.
have this melting pot of white, black, Jewish, Asian, Palestinian, Pakistani, Indian, Japanese. Everybody's coming together at this one place where it was like a damn utopian society, man.
Yeah, right.
You know, and then I read Malcolm Gladwell Outliers, you know, later in life, and you start to figure out that, man, this shit wasn't normal, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're playing at a high level. Like there's a lot of programs that will introduce kids to the game, but they can't go win a tournament or go break 80, go break 70.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't until I got into the corporate world, got into sit in the junior golf boards, that I got to see, man, these programs have $500,000 budgets, $2 million budgets. I'm not gonna call any names, but these kids can't bust a grape. You know what I mean? But going back to Jerry, man, it was just like a utopian society. And then we had professors coming, we had mailmen, firemen, police officers, politicians. Just everyone was coming.
Pros.
Yeah. So if we're there after school, we get there at 4 and we stay till 8 or 9. Those professionals are coming to hit for an hour. So every day we're sitting at the same range spot. We might have 5 professionals come and hit next to us and drop game on us. We're talking every day, 362 days a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We
Be
took
mad
Christmas,
when you miss.
Thanksgiving, and New Year's
soaking
off.
it up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're thinking this is normal.
Right.
This is not normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that made me a better global citizen. As Carl's point, man, when I'm able to compete with a country club kid, that's a generational country club kid, and I'm winning the tournament, and I'm able to kind of have friendships with these people. When I go to a prep school or I go to a PWI, when I go to a boardroom, I'm already comfortable because I've already spent a lot of time around these people, and I know we're all the same at the end. So that's just how we kind of came together. A little bit about Bridgeview, and we'll dive in a little more about what that place meant to us and how it was just a very unique place.
And I gotta mention, I know I just kind of jumped in and didn't really give a lot about my personal golf story, but you guys touched on a lot of things. But I gotta mention Dr. Ross.
Oh yeah, let's go down the list, man. Let's go down the list.
Dr. Ross, man. Like that
Charles
was
Mwanza.
my introduction right there, bro.
Charles Mwanza Ross.
Charles Mwanza Ross,
Talk about
bro.
that.
Like,
Talk about that.
Man, like honestly, one of the biggest father figure influences, you know, in my life personally. And without him, you know, there would be no Calid in golf, you know. Just at the end of the day, like no Calid in golf. I remember the first time he put a club in my hand. You know, we were at this summer counseling program that he was leading, and it was just me and Kalonji put this like old ass club in my hand. That was probably from 1960, 65.
Don't talk about it. He just bought them sticks. Don't talk about that. Yo, and Dr. Ross.
You know, it was probably a 1-iron or something. But man, he like changed my life with that. I think I hit probably like one good shot out of the 30 times I tried, but that one good shot, I was hooked. You know what I mean? I was hooked off of that feeling. And you know, he was the ultimate personality, the ultimate trash talker, you know, always telling us how to hit these different shots and, you know, giving us tips of how to chip around the green with that, you know, that old man like
Yeah.
Old
Pop
man
and lock.
language, that cock and pop. You know, you gotta
Right.
get that cock and pop.
Right.
So
Oh,
Fashion
you
fashion
can only
icon.
imagine.
Talk about the fashion icon. Had the
Uh,
windbreakers on in the
Yeah.
90s.
right.
Now
Yeah.
everybody
With the
wants
sweater.
joggers.
What kind of sweater though? With the
Right.
sweater.
Coogee,
the
The
Coogee,
sweater.
Coogee sweater,
Yeah.
bro.
Coogee with the
The Coogee
windbreakers, but the
had the
sweater was,
suspenders. You know
but
what I mean?
the Coogee was tucked in.
bro.
The Coogee was tucked into the breakers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ash-
But
Oh,
these dudes
what?
will give us life lessons though, man. Like Dr. Ross, man, I
100%.
might have been 12 years old. He's like, Adam, in life, there's gonna be an escalator and there's gonna be the stairs.
Yep.
Always take the stairs.
Oh,
Mhm.
So man, how many times
Facts.
you flying in the airport and come across and I hear his voice. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yep, just those
Mhm.
simple lessons, right?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
simple
Yeah.
lessons, man. So we'll probably have a whole like Dr. Ross episode at some point.
Oh, definitely.
Man, have
Definitely.
to.
But
Have to.
Yeah.
Play the
yeah, I had
conditions.
to throw him in there.
Can we
Intro.
put artifacts in the pod, Khalid? I didn't even think about this. Like I can go take pictures of that field Adam was talking about, and then go
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Bridgeview
yeah.
and take pictures and just like post those up for.
Yeah. Because
For
you know,
sure.
OSU tried to fire him for celebrating Malcolm X's birthday.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
he was an all around innovator, one of them trailblazers, just like
Yeah.
definitely.
push back against the zeitgeist in the
Yeah,
right
man.
way.
He's a Columbus legend, man. So rest in peace to
Man,
Dr. Ross. And yeah, we'll have to definitely have a Dr. Ross episode, but just wanted to kind of add to that barbershop, culture that we were able to create, at Bridgeview, and just have like that synergy and that mentorship. And yeah, man, it was definitely like a safe space for me, like being somebody who didn't really have a father figure in the household, but coming to Bridgeview, like getting game from Adam's dad, whether it's Jerry, you know, uh, Jerry's dad, Dr. Ross, like the employees that worked at Bridgeview, like whoever was there, I was always soaking up game. It was my first summer job in high school, so I'd be there, all throughout the week, picking the range, getting to
Right.
hit balls for free.
Yep.
And that's really what helped take my game to the next level, was just being able to be there all day, every day. And I look back and it's like, I even I joke with my girlfriend because I feel like I was a lame in high school. I like look back at her high school and like all the things she did in summer, but like I was having a blast, like being,
Right.
being at
Right, right,
Bridgeview. I was at the
right.
courses, drive range, like all
right.
Tell
day,
you not.
every day, bro.
Loving
So
it. Loving it, man.
Loving it.
loving it.
Not even thinking about
Uh,
anything else. Like I picked that
uh,
range. I picked that range clean. You hear me?
Right. In the snow. In the snow.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Oh, man.
yeah, man. Nah, that's a blessing, man. So I guess moving on to the next segment of the show. So since we bringing in the culture and golf and trying to give people a different perspective of the game, right? And so we did kind of talk about Kendrick and Drake and how we all are passionate about hip hop and how that's influenced us, in the game. But I wanted to know from you guys, we got this segment called Bluetooth Bangers, right? So, when we all out on the course, we got our tunes, we got our jams that keeps us in the flow. But even, just as we preparing for golf and like, how has music and culture kind of influenced your,
Mm.
golf journey and like how you approach the game? Is there any like go-to songs that gets you in that mindset before you ready to tee it up? Or are you playing jazz on the course? Are you playing trap? Are you playing boom bap? Like, let's just get into like the culture in golf and like music and how that kind of plays into your golf journey.
Man, you want to kick that? You want to kick that off? Y'all want me to
You
go
gotta
ahead?
set
Go
that
ahead,
Wyatt.
Wyatt.
Set that
Yeah,
Wyatt.
Set it off.
so the crazy thing is, like, when I go in tournaments and whatnot, it really just depends on the state of where I'm at. Like sometimes I'm on the, do right and kill everything, Drake vibes. Uh, when I just need to not listen to it, just hear it and just be in a good state. And then there's other times where it's like, if my situation ain't improving, I'm trying to murder everything moving on some Jay-Z type vibes where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, bro, like I'm over here like having him give me game. You know what I'm saying? Every
Mm.
time that he like speaks, even though he lives in another stratosphere, but like eventually when I get there in life, I'll be like, oh, bro, that's what he's talking about. And that's how bringing that back to golf, like that's how I need to play the game of golf. It needs to be like chess moves. Like you need to be having like a good course strategy, like even a good course management of your game as well too. So like I try to make my next move my best move.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely listen to Hove. Like that's how you can tell how he moves. Like even if like someone throws like shots at him and whatnot, like he's not just going to address it right then and there. Like he's going sit with it, and then you might hear a joint probably like a few months later him address it in a song. Throw a 16. You're like, bro, this man just spazzed out and went crazy, right? And I think that's how I listening to him, that's like how my personality kind of like grew and evolved. Like, okay, like, all right, people talking crazy about me. Like, I'm not gonna say anything right then and there. I'm just gonna let my sticks do the talking.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely listen to it solid, Jay-Z, but obviously y'all know Cole is in my rotation all day, every day. Kendrick's in my rotation all day, every day.
That
But
cold,
also
that cold clouds go so hard.
see,
The new
man,
cloud, yeah.
It goes so
Yeah.
hard, bro.
he's just different, bro. He's just different. I just wish he get more shine that he deserves. But also like on some spiritual, when I need to get my mentals ready, you definitely got to give a big shout out to like Big Sean as well too.
Mm.
So it varies where my mental space needs to be, and I've even talked to a lot of tour guys as well too. And you think these guys, shoot these crazy numbers on a consistent basis, have it figured out, and they're still trying to figure it out as well too, which is
Mm.
wild. People, I'm not calling out, any names or anything, but like, people on the last day and on the last round on Sunday in the last group, they're like, bro, like, how should I attack this day? Should I be
Mm.
like on some Tiger Woods, not say anything and just like, just be just straight, killer? Or should I just be more myself, lighthearted and just go out, enjoy it, and have fun. Like, so like everyone's, like I said, going through like this life experience, trying to figure out this game, this beautiful game of golf, and it's
Mm-hmm.
always progressing. Like you're always like learning something, just like fashion. It's always
Yeah.
going to just be a process. You know what I'm saying? So, I know that was a long-winded question when it comes to the music and everything. So, where are y'all at with
Good.
the vibes? Yeah.
Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, this
Wyatt
is
got bars.
unfair. We y'all damn DJs, musicians, producers.
Yeah. Y'all
Wyatt
kill
got
me
so
on
many
the intro.
bars. I know Wyatt got too many bars. I'm gonna just break mine down to like I think music is a soundtrack to life, and the songs that I listen to or the music that I listen to on the golf course uh, varies from like things that have inspired me, things that are sentimental, things that are uplifting or anchoring. But
Mm-hmm.
like for the most part, it's like a mix of jazz, soul, hip hop, alternative. Khalid put me on I'm a Piano. I've been running that heavy.
Hey.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But like
yeah.
the yeah, like the last track I listened to when I was practicing, I wasn't even playing, but was this song by Kelvin Momo. It's called Song Cry.
Mm-hmm.
And that joint goes so hard. It's just like a real chill, I'm a piano, almost like smooth jazz vibe. But
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm,
depends. It really depends. I wish I could give a deeper answer. Like music's taught me so much about knowledge of self that I can't even tell you in the time a podcast can provide. But
Mm-hmm.
just the idea that these men from, it's kind of a step shot of the civil rights movement. These men came out of this borough in New York with not much and were creating an art form using bits and pieces and scraps and scrapes of other people's arts to
Mm-hmm.
make something that's truly uniquely like an African American music genre is like where I'm just like always amazed at the ingenuity and
Mm-hmm.
the capabilities of Black people, man. We're different. Like
Yeah.
we are diasporic people, but we're like very uniquely this.
I love you said that too, because the more I've like started to play music out while I'm playing, I feel like I start to gravitate more towards jazz, just because I feel like golf in a lot of ways resembles jazz, similar to like a lot of people say like basketball is like jazz, but I feel like
Hmm.
golf is a lot like jazz as well, because with jazz, it's like you have all these different instruments, right, that are speaking to each other. They have to communicate with each other in order for it to, produce, a moving or, compelling composition. But with
Hmm.
golf, it's the same way, right? You have all these different unique elements of the game, whether it's putting, is very different from driving, right? And chipping is very different from your iron play, right? But all these things have to work together in order to score, right? You got to have everything working together. So I think even teaching the game in a way that it correlates with music or jazz could be a cool way to start even just breaking down the game from a more of a feeling standpoint, you know what I mean, as
Hmm.
opposed to a technical standpoint. I feel like as black people, like you said, from the diaspora, we have like natural feel and
Rhythmic
rhythm,
sensibility. Yeah.
to our abilities, right? That makes us stand out. Even if you look at Tiger's swing, it's still the most beautiful swing, that's ever been created. And so kind of
Right.
using that rhythm, from a music standpoint, I think we could, start to weave that into how we teach the game, whether it's, looking at putting, as
Hmm.
a stage, you know what I mean, to perform and just kind of like use your creativity to either play it soft and trickle it in the hole, or if you want to go straight at it with the firm putt, it's like a different rhythm, you know what I mean? And just kind of like, I don't know, I've been listening to a lot of jazz in that way of just trying to be more like almost like a freestyle. Like golf is like a big freestyle at the end of the day. Um,
Yeah.
so that's
Has
just
anybody ever seen Tiger Woods dance? I don't know why I just thought of this. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nah, that
I
that
doubt he
footage
got
don't
any
exist,
rhythm.
man.
that footage
Yeah.
don't exist. I'm about to
Can you
try to
dance to
find it.
you too? Can you dance to
Yeah.
you too?
yeah, that,
Has
yeah,
anybody ever seen that brother two
I think
step?
he did
Like
dance in that documentary, The Tiger, but I doubt it
he
was
was
like
Oh man, we
dancing with
need
I,
the
that footage.
devil.
I
Yeah,
think
we need that
I think,
footage.
He
yo,
was
real talk. I think they was like, I think he was like trying to like, bob his head a little bit at the Masters or something like that. And everyone was like, bro, what is he listening to? So I
yeah.
gotta I need to find that clip and send that to you.
Please.
Yeah,
He blessed with it. He's blessed with the tempo and the swing, but I don't
Exactly.
know if that brother got it on the dance floor.
yeah.
But I mean, you train so hard that you don't go to dances and stuff. Like even Muhammad Ali said that. Like
Right,
he said he was
right.
a terrible dancer because he never
That wasn't
danced.
his
You
favorite.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
In the
that's fair.
ring,
Yeah.
in
That's
the
fair.
ring, he danced on everybody in the
Right,
ring.
right,
Right,
That
right.
part.
right.
That part.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
part.
but yeah,
Nah, for me, music is like an arc. Um, so the night before, jazz is near and dear to my heart, and that's something Mr. Hammond, Big Jerry, kind
Mhm.
of schooled me on. So even naming my company after one of the musicians, but it's
Shout out
Miles.
Coltrane.
Yeah,
Let him
it's
know.
Miles
Let
and
Hey,
him know.
Coltrane at
Yeah.
night. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's Blue and Green. So what? Naima, Aisha at night,
nice.
Get your Googles up.
and
Get your
then
Googles up.
Right.
no, in the morning it's
Get your
old, man.
Shazams out. Get your
Yeah,
Shazams
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right,
No, so like
Yeah.
I'm like Wyatt, I'm a disciple of Hove. How you kind of take hip hop, take that hustler mentality, and put it into your grind. So whether
Mm,
that's golf, whether it's entrepreneurship. So a lot of the Hove Pharrell collabs are kind of the first songs on my playlist.
mm-hmm,
So ambitious, you can do it too. Um, those kind of stand out for me. But a
mm-hmm.
lot of Hove, and then I kind of try to wean myself down by listening to Bob Marley or something to get into that spiritual realm of the game.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't do a lot of listening on the course unless I'm playing with one of you guys,
Hmm.
because for me, being in front of the screen so much, man, when I get to feel the sun, hear the wind and the birds and stuff, it might
Yeah.
sound corny, but it's like I need that, because I
Yeah.
do have the iPods in when I'm listening or whatever these things are called, AirPods in at the
yeah.
gym, working,
Right.
to get my mental right. So when I can get outside
Yeah.
and detach a little
Disconnect.
bit, I try to do that. Yeah.
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 I'm surprised you didn't give that raw shout out, Adam. Shit, I was waiting for
Yeah,
it.
I mean, but that's like the guys. So Ross and Drake are like they help you paint the picture mentally of the success. You know what I mean? I like
Mm,
when and it's an artist trajectory
Hmm.
problem too. Like when they're starting off and they're taking off, they're kind of describing the things they want to attain before they have them.
right. Right.
So I enjoy that arc of the journey for an artist, and it's tough when they reach that, how they keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can see they plateau a little bit.
Yeah.
But I enjoy
Right.
those guys when they do a great job of painting the picture of what they had to do to sacrifice, work hard to achieve their dreams. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
but you
that's
get
a
to. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead, get your point up. Go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. But you get to a point where like it becomes so unrelatable. And Drake has, I can't tell you how many bars, like what he be talking about. I'm like, bro, where? Like, what is he talking?
Right.
Like
Right.
me, I'm at the Mikado was saying such and such, and in the back room, I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, like, what is
But
going on
Hove
right
does
now?
a good job. Like, you barely been to
Right.
the Bahamas. Man, let me shut up. You know what I mean?
Right, right. In the
Yeah,
triple decker, yeah,
Heavy, heavy.
that's
right,
funny, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I was
I
just
mean,
gonna
even Nas, Khalid, you know what I mean? Like, it was tough for me early on because his stuff was so, like, man, cerebral. I couldn't, like, understand it at that young age. But now he's talking about Black entrepreneurship and,
mm-hmm.
like, so he's getting into that space where I can kind of relate to the
Hmm.
hustle and imagine myself the success he's describing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's like one of the dope parts about golf too is like the visualization part. I think
Right.
it kind of it coincides with how we visualize with rap too, and like
Right.
we manifest things as rappers. You know what I mean? We got to talk about things that we might not have at the moment, but we're
Right.
aspiring to get there. And I think it's the same thing with golf. It's having that mentality of like, all right, I might not be 3 under yet, but you know what I mean? I'm about to go out
Right.
here
Yeah.
on this back nine and go crazy. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Yeah.
that same, optimistic mindset.
And,
Yeah.
and
I
and
turned
it's
3 to
competitive.
5, 5 to 50.
You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Exactly.
And there's a
Yeah.
competitiveness to rap that exists in golf too, where it's not like
Hmm.
not so much I want to beat you because everybody's kind of playing the course, but at a level, maybe why you can speak to this. It's like I want to match where you are in terms of how you're playing, and then see if you can push further, and then we keep matching each other as we kind of excel or increase. How do you think about that? Like somebody's on a tear, you're on the tear, and somebody's talking to you about that on the course, like, yo, my man just ripped off 3 birdies and an eagle. I don't know what he drank or what he ate or what he's on, but like,
Yeah, right, right. No, I would say I personally, because everyone that plays, some solid golf and whatnot, you'll go through these peaks and valleys or even streaks a little bit, and you can't control what another person's doing. So it's not like you can emulate like, all right, they about to go crazy and get, rattle off these birdies. All right, I'm just gonna do some osmosis and do the same, right? Even though that's something, we wish it was that easy, but
Hmm.
at the same time, if anything, especially like playing with tour players and whatnot, or playing with anyone in general, like I think a really good player or a great player, they will watch another person's game and watch that they do this a certain way that's really good, and they're like, oh, let me pick this apart, as opposed to
mm-hmm,
you just rattling off these birdies and whatnot. It's like, oh, like your pre-shot routine is really well, like bro, like what are you thinking about and how did you get to said routine, and then like how well you manage your game. Like, bro, you never miss it in any of the bad spots. What are you thinking about to do
right.
that? Like, how are you dissecting the course that well for it to do that? To open up and create more opportunities for you to go on these birdie runs and stuff like that. I think that's how, I've looked at it thus far. But at the end of the day, like, I'm personally a very momentum person as well too. So like I can, catch a wave just by watching them. I'm like, okay, yo, it's go time right now. So let's just be in that flow state and just, get out of
Hmm.
my own way and just stay in the present. You know what I'm saying? Like don't overthink anything, just react.
Hmm.
So I think
Talk
that's one
about
of the
the
things.
athlete, talking like an
Yeah.
athlete. Let's go,
Yeah,
let's
I
Hey,
go.
love it.
bro. Yeah,
Love
just
it.
Flow
because I
state,
play golf doesn't mean I'm you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people get confused in that, but we're
flow
gonna talk
state,
about that later.
flow
Yeah.
Nah,
state, yo.
that's a good segue. I actually wanted to
Okay.
double down on that because,
Mm.
I think at the end, like at the beginning of our careers, I think all of us had dreams of being on the PGA tour, you know what I mean, and playing professionally. And, at some point we all, had to make choices of doing something different. And, why you've been, fortunate enough to like really go to the highest level. And I think right now we're seeing like black golfers coming into the sport at the highest rate we've ever, seen it before. And I'm sure all of them, want to make it pro at some point too. So I think we could probably all go around and kind of give some game on what it actually takes, to make it to the pro level. Because I think golf is a weird sport to where, you can jump right into it and have a little success like in your first couple of years and feel like, oh man, I'm definitely,
Right,
I'm like,
right.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
that
about to go to
dude.
the
I'm
league.
about to be
Yeah.
on the
Right.
tour. Like, I should have been playing this game my whole life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But once you hit that kind of wall and like you have to like fight through those down periods, like, can y'all speak to that? Like, what it takes to really be like an elite, golfer, like,
Yeah, and we need to do like our playing abilities too, because like
yeah,
Wyatt playing in major championships, winning on APGA, you know, you guys like playing at a high level, me caddying on tour, like that's not normal either. You know what I
right,
mean?
Right.
exactly, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Australia, you know.
Or we
Yeah.
need to, or we need to find that. No pun intended. We need to find that DNA for like Kendrick's kids or something like that. If it's actually his, or those allegations that he was claiming. Like I
I
need
mean,
something like that. You know what I'm saying? Level
Wyatt
up.
said he
just
need the receipts.
I
He
know,
want to be
right?
in it.
He trying to go in for
On,
the
on,
jugular.
yeah, on both sides too, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're gonna hold, because you know how nowadays people be holding this stuff like it's real life. You know what I'm saying? Like with the social media and things of that nature. So like people want to see the, even though it is entertaining, right? But like I guess the Pusha T actually brought to light something, and I think with his beef with Drake, now people want that same kind of pedigree, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So
I think they took it to the furthest extent they could have took it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
On,
what
on
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 tour.
wax.
Yeah,
On wax.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nah. See, I'm on demon time. See, when
So you
when
on demon
Drake
time.
dropped, yeah, when Drake dropped that joint on February 14th, Kendrick already got a couple joints in the can. He should have dropped something right back at him on the 14th. Just like, bro,
You
you know what
wanted
I'm
it to
saying?
keep going. They could be still
Oh,
Yeah.
of
rapping at each
course.
other.
What? I
Yeah.
wanted Cole to jump in too. Like, but it was his battle to lose. It was his to lose.
But yeah, Cole took the wise approach.
Oh, backed out quick. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
looking real good right now, though. I can't lie. Like,
He looked like Kendrick was the smarter move, but he was ready for everybody. But
mhm.
Mm.
Cole looked like Cole did the right man, the gentleman's thing. Like, hey man, I've been out with these cats. I've seen them in all walks of life. They
right.
got dirt on me. I got dirt on them. I don't want none of it out there. Let's
Yeah,
just leave it at that.
Mm.
Just leave it
Mm.
at that.
But or if I can change, if I can go through this lens and perspective. So people that are like in the boxing world or MMA or like some type of martial arts world, and they're like at their black belt or just like a literally weapon of mass destruction, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking, like they are at such a high level, like their ego, someone's gonna have to match them to have their ego like, okay, now I'm gonna fight. And Cole was like, bruh, like, and Cole's not like an egotistic person, even though he has egotistical bars. He's not at the point he's like, bro, like I see what's gonna happen right now. Like, even though I'm gonna bow out of this, doesn't mean like I'm war ready. I'm not war ready. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I just think people think that him bowing out, which I understand, which him bowing out is definitely the soft approach because especially you claiming you the top three or you him, like people want to back that up, right? And it's a little bit easier said than done when it comes to the sport world, than it is in the artistic, everything is subjective world and things of that nature. Because everyone has
Mm-hmm.
their own taste and opinion and stuff like that. Like people think like Jay-Z is trash, which is wild to me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like easier to score sports because there's a clear point
Clear
system.
winner.
There's
Yeah.
clear
Yeah.
winners, there's clear losers, but like the art is subjective, which I think was what made it interesting because like Drake stands are gonna always say Drake is a better artist, performer, rapper, whatever. And Kendrick people who are a little more cerebral are always gonna ask for that real nutrition, like you talked about, Wyatt, versus
hmm
the fast food science diet, the GMO diet.
hmm
yeah. Walmart has sold more paintings than Picasso. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
Bars. Adam over there just stammering. Right,
Oh
right.
Love
man.
it.
And
But the
Walmart's a
sum total.
billion-dollar company, $1 trillion, shooting something.
Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Real quick before I lose my train of thought. How do you stand out in a saturated market?
It depends on what you talking about. Um, if you're talking about music specifically,
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go that route.
um, shoot, man, we could talk about this all day, but I'm like, it's so many different
Yeah.
lanes you could go.
Mm.
But I would say the best way to stand out is being yourself. You know, there's only one you. So, trying to make the music as authentic to your experience is probably the best way to make the most unique music. Because let's be honest, there's so many stories that's already been told, in regards to like a formulaic love song or, relationships and this and that. But nobody's ever had your unique experience. You know what I mean? So I think writing or creating from a personal place is the best way to start. And then, on top of that is, quality, what is quality production or quality content, collaborations, you know what I mean? Those are probably like the top three ways to stand out. But there's a million ways to go about it because music and marketing is like, they go hand in hand pretty much. So it's, if you got an idea or, some type of unique way of shooting content or, you got crazy voice or you got crazy look to you, you know what I mean, it just depends on like what you want to do, how you want to present yourself and position yourself in the game, but yeah, it's a ton of ways to do it.
So shifting gears on you. So do we need more of that marketing aspect in the golf world? Because we know we got the TGL that's making its own wave, and then allegedly there's going to be bridging the gap with Live and then PGA Tour, and
Mhm.
then you also have
Yeah.
I'll give the plug like APGA players, right? That are their own brands and entities that's an umbrella of the PGA Tour. So like,
Yeah, I think that's a great segue. I think the PGA, I think golf as a whole is still battling a perception issue. Even though we've grown the game a lot in the past 2 years, it still has a perception of being like a white man, like an old,
Elitist.
elitist
Hmm.
mm,
sport, right? And I
well,
think
have you seen how much these country clubs cost? Like,
bruh, you know what I'm saying? It
what?
is, it is still elitist. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think the experience that people see in professional golf also like reflects that elitist culture too. And until the product of the PGA Tour or the product of Live or the product of um, even APGA in some ways starts to reflect, like the audience as a whole a little bit more, I think that's where, we can start to stand out. I would love to see um, a crowd full of black people at a tournament or a crowd full of, just people of color, at a tournament. I think that's where you start to like change the perception. It's not necessarily always on the players to do that. I think we've put a lot of pressure on the players to change perception, but
Hmm.
I think the people who enjoy the game should be able to access, these high end tournaments, give them more tickets to, the Masters, like giving more tickets to the APGA, like let's give a whole school, HBCU, like let's make the APGA lit. You know what I mean? I want to hear like roars, on the 18th hole of it, APGA
Mm,
event. I think that's how you like start to get
That'd be crazy.
that
yeah.
that
No, Khalid, I
perception.
think you're on it, man. Because I'd be like, man, why is there no TV coverage of the back nine? Like when they had the farmers
Mm-hmm.
at
Mm,
APGA, like I want to see
Hmm.
those TV rankings
Right.
Yep.
because I'm
Right.
pretty sure each player has a number of people watching to see, and then the community at large is like, yo, what is this? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
mm.
Right, right.
Especially
Yeah.
Golf Channel's been struggling with content lately. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Woo!
So why
Yo,
isn't there a
They
camera
still showing
crew?
reruns of The Big Break or whatever that shit
Right,
was.
right. Yeah. Come on, man. Like,
the game
so
is
why
getting.
isn't there a
Oh,
TV crew or a marketing campaign around the APGA
yeah.
and the players and you know what I mean? Profiling the players.
Yeah, I
I'm
Definitely.
would.
sure a whole bunch of black people would like to go see the tournament. You know what I
They
mean?
need
Bro,
somebody to root for. We need
man.
representation.
Yeah,
And not to add to push further the point that you was talking about, Adam, the fact that like saying Golf Channel struggling, like bro, the game is cooked right now. Like bro, we got YouTubers getting more views than the actual PGA Tour. You know what I'm
Right.
saying on
Yeah.
Sundays and Saturdays and or over the
right,
weekend. And
right.
when and people that do tap in like on a regular, they're like, bro, who are these people that's on the top of the leaderboard? They don't like know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I that it's tougher in an individual sport, right? But I think a lot of people, like I said, want to see the quote unquote best players of the world and bridge that PJ Tour and live together. But at the end of the day, like people don't understand as well too. They're even making like even the top 150 player in the world. It's making harder for them to maintain their job and make a living compared to
Mm-hmm.
previous times as well too. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like people don't understand like how much this stuff costs.
Like we're
Right.
still such in the early innings of this whole grow the game mentality. Like this is, I keep
Mm-hmm.
having to check myself. Like it's 600-year-old game that's got within the last maybe 3 decades some real activity and energy around. Let's try and diversify, change, grow, and all those things sound good, but it's hard. Like
Yeah.
Mm,
this has existed in the vestiges of areas of society that people like me and how we all connected have never been
Mm-hmm.
exposed to. So there's a whole language around
yeah.
even before you can approach it. How do you start to think about where is it broken? Are we even scoring it the same way? Do we even want the end place to be the same place? So I'm glad
Right.
there's all this disruption. I think it needs to go through disruption.
Yeah.
YouTube should I think YouTube should check PGA Tour because the product was whack. The YouTube
Mm-hmm.
product is better right now. And once they learn and grow, then that product will improve. But like if Grant Horvath is getting a bag and figuring out where figuring out how to, like, to Khalid's point, create an authentic experience for viewers and bring
Mm-hmm.
them along, then like that's where the PGA Tour needs to go because it's not
Yeah.
authentic in the way that current people want to see the product be presented.
But that's also you have to think about it too. It's the elitist, sport and whatnot. So you have to act a certain way, and then the tour players like they don't want to, drop their bag of actually being themselves and have their sponsors like pissed off and you know what I'm saying? Like if they say it's the wrong thing or just go about it the wrong way, then they're
Mm-hmm.
at jeopardy, of losing the bag. And so they're over here tightening up,
Yeah,
their whole demeanor, right? And they can't even be themselves because
yeah,
of
I think it's like too much, almost too, because it's really hard to be a professional golfer. Like I mean, like you know this firsthand. Why
Mhm.
like it takes so much mental energy to be a professional to where like you almost have to be a robot. You know what I'm saying in order to like
Mm,
make it. And I think it's hard for players to like really show their full
right,
personality. Like Tiger was an anomaly. Like you know what I mean. Like
right.
he
Like
was
think
just like
about
groomed for it. You know what I'm
like
But he's
saying?
still a
So, like,
robot too, man. All
he's
he's
them
still
still a
still
right,
robot.
robots. He
right.
yeah.
work the bag room. They come
Shep,
in.
yeah,
Exactly.
Scheffler was literally Scheffler was getting put in cuffs, and the homie was like,
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
no
You know?
emotion. It was like, dude, you were getting
Yeah, bro.
jammed, and
Yeah.
you were looking like, all right, I guess this is like he just pushed it
Yeah.
all the way down. Which
Yeah.
If I
it's
had
a
half my
gentleman's
bank account,
game.
I would be too. Shoot,
It, it- it's
I'd be unfazed. Like,
it's a gentleman's game. So you got to kind of like there is that piece of it, which I appreciate that there's a decorum to how you're supposed to operate on the course instead of
Yeah.
Jerry checked me several times throwing clubs at Muirfield. Double
mm,
bogey, double bogey on a hole. I throw my club like,
Yeah.
man, you gotta act better, dude. This ain't how you want to show up in society as a leader. And that's what we all
Yeah.
are, low
Yeah.
key, is like leaders in terms of how we
Hmm.
community, how we build with one another, how we lead our families. Like there is a level of like, dang, I gotta put up with some shit.
Hmm.
And I gotta show that it's gotta reflect like it's not phasing me because we're
Yeah.
leaders.
I see. That's the
Yeah.
part. That's the part I hate. My bad, Khalid. I promise I don't be cutting people off. And people
Nah, you
that
good.
like kind of know. Like
I,
now I'm in my
Wyatt's like,
circle. I can actually talk.
Wyatt's like, shut up, y'all don't know what it's like. I'm out here in the streets.
Y'all. But shit, y'all almost made me lose my train of thought. But I think that's the problem with golf, right? I think that we don't have. This is going to sound wild. I don't think we don't have the opportunity to be ourselves, right? So when you
That's where
have
I was gonna
people,
get to. Yeah.
yeah, see, we did. See, I'm on the same wavelength, bro. I got you. I
I'm
got you.
with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. So when you look at soccer, when you look at basketball, when you look at football, people express themselves. Like what if they celebrate for a win or if they get angry and things don't go their way, they're able to express themselves. In golf, you get oppressed in a sense where it's like, no, like I'm not allowed to be angry or throw my club, as you said, in Muirfield and whatnot, because that doesn't look good in society. Well, shoot, that's not being authentic as well. Like, because all humans, we're living in a human, or we're living on Earth in this human experience. People will have bad days and good days. So you mean to tell me I gotta keep it bottled in the whole way
Yeah.
around?
Yeah.
Now it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's like, well, I don't want to put that energy out into the universe. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then that's how people, pick up and gravitate towards or be influenced by like, oh, well, Tiger threw his club or Roy threw his club in the water, so now it's cool with that I do it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Right.
That's a great. I think that's an interesting point where we're at in golf right now is like being your authentic self to either to a benefit or to a detriment. And I think because golfers have been trained to like hold in their negative emotions, I think it low key is like a toxic part of golf, like underlying like
mm,
like
mm.
toxic part of golf, low key. Like because we always say like golf is good for your mental health, but I think competitive golf is a totally different
Yeah, agreed.
beast. You know what I mean? You're taught to like be like this level-headed, like Kawhi Leonard type, like not too high, not too low, like type of energy. But I think if that's not your personality, then that could, be detrimental in a way if you're used to like, being more expressive. Because like you said, in other sports, you get that moment to like yell at the ref, or you get that moment to like, get a technical foul and move on to the next play, or you can, go out and hit somebody, really hard if you're on the football field, to get that energy out.
Right.
So I don't know, I guess even like asking you as somebody who's playing professionally now, how do you kind of manage those emotions when you're having like a bad day, or even a great day, like how do you kind of manage all that?
Dang, that's a great question, bro. It's like how much time we got, right? So I
Hmm.
think one of the things that I've learned because I've had chats and talks with certain sports psychologists that's to pick their brains and whatnot, and the brain can't distinguish from stress. So oh shit, give me 1 second. See, I knew this was gonna happen. 1 second.
You good?
My bad.
Yeah, I think we just need flavor, man.
Yeah.
Flag, flavor, whatever you
Yeah,
call it.
man. Because the PGA, if you got, I ain't gonna, I love golf. I watch it every week. But if it's Colin Morikawa, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, that's
Yeah.
gonna be the most
Yeah.
level, no emotion, final nine. You know, I'm back
Need,
nine of a
need a little,
Sunday.
need a little
Yeah,
Mhm.
man. Come
little
on, man.
sofrito
Like and
sprinkled
look
on
at
it.
Serena,
Yeah.
Venus, Nick Kyrgios, Andre Agassi, even back in the day, Chichi Rodriguez, Lee
Yeah.
Trevino,
Yeah,
John
Sevy,
Daly. You know what I mean? Tiger.
Sevy. Yeah.
Tiger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sevy. You know what I mean? Like I go by the numbers, man. Like let's
Yeah.
look at TV ratings. When
Yeah.
it's corny 1995 versus
Mm.
the errors I just mentioned, I know what the ratings are going to show. You know what I
Mhm.
So
mean?
do we need not to shift gears on y'all? So do we need more trash talking in golf? Because we know there's trash
I
talking in
mean,
the street. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And the field, there's trash talking on the court. Like, do we need a little bit of, what I'm saying, behind the scenes, like flavor, like spice it up? And
I
would
mean,
that
you can
actually?
see it in the Netflix shows, man. You can look at Full Swing versus F1.
hmm
You know the F1 guys are friendly, but they're going at
Yeah,
each other's throats.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And will
Full
run up
swing.
on each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
yeah,
On
yeah.
Full Swing, nobody's doing that, man. you know?
Right.
Because you with them for like 4.5
Right.
hours. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Right.
like,
I
bro,
gotta see you for another 4 hours.
right. You pissed off
Can't
on
read
Right.
hole
that.
number 2. Like,
Well,
what we doing?
right. I cussed him out on the first part 3, and I
Right.
talked to
Now
him
we
since.
boys now. We boys.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the slow
Is it?
play issue. You know what I mean? Like let a real one
Mm,
come up on somebody playing real
Yeah.
slow.
Right.
I don't
You
know,
know what I
like
mean?
I feel
right.
like what's the goal around the trash talk? Just to show more authenticity? Because like, is it productive to the game in order to is it required to show there's like a personality to this game, spirit of soul that's
I
beyond just
honestly,
this
I honestly don't
measured
think we need it for the professional game.
Yeah.
Like I think they're good enough without it, but I do think that's what makes the YouTubers and the amateur
in the
content,
TGL.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
TGL,
Yeah.
like alternative formats. I think it works best for that.
Right. Skins game.
Skins
Yeah.
Or
game,
if it's back 9 and there's a separation and you're in the same group. Because you
exactly.
could be competing, talking trash with this dude, but you getting lapped by somebody in front of you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the live product was interesting at first, but now it just seems like that wild cousin of yours that you get that always gets in trouble over on the side. I don't know why. Just
Yeah.
every time I watch a live tournament, I'm like, dang, the music is loud, and I love loud music. I'm like, how are they even like
Right.
moving around the course with this?
Right.
You know,
Yeah, they need help. Live and the
Yeah.
tour needs help, man. They
yeah, it's just
need
like the
some flavor, you
the
know?
products need
Yeah.
retooled, and it's a good
Yeah.
thing that YouTube is on their necks like that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Mm.
the
Should we
live.
intro this thing in? I don't even
I
know
know,
if
like
people
we
know
just
what
went
we
right
Yeah,
are.
in.
man.
That's
We've
how
been running hard at this for a minute.
right.
I know.
Yeah.
I just went with it. I was like, all right, fuck it, man. We just gonna go.
That's crazy. That
Oh
was
Yeah.
tight.
shit.
That was
Yeah.
tight though. We need those. That's the chemistry we got though.
Yeah.
That might be the intro, candidly, and just be like
Right.
Yeah. Tour,
love
live, y'all need us, man. Y'all
love
the
for it.
product
Right.
is
Right.
Yeah.
live, y'all lost $1 billion last year. Like,
Yeah.
come
Right.
on, man.
Give me
Oh,
half
Right.
a mil. I'll take care of the rest.
Right.
Yeah, Saudis.
Yeah.
Right, I'm good for it. I'm good for it, Saudis.
Right. Sure.
Well, shoot,
Yeah,
man.
that's why.
He said I'm good.
Shit. I can make
Yeah.
payments. You know what I'm saying? Installments. Right. We can work this out.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we can do a quick intro. I think it would be good to just like maybe talk about like how we all met, you know what I mean? Just like kind of the background and bridge view a little bit. And then, we'll just kind of cut it down for like a little quick intro. But yeah, I'll jump in maybe and we'll just kind of go around. I'm sure it'll grow.
Yeah, and you can cut too, right? You can kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
chop it.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
I'm gonna go last on this one because I gotta hear your perspective. Yeah.
Mine is so similar to yours, Khalid, in terms of like the OSU. So back when Adam and I first started, I couldn't hit a broadside of a barn with a 5-iron. But by the time I was done with high school, I had, city medalist, district honors, all the letters. And I went to a city school, so it wasn't like golf was a core part of the
Yeah.
pedigree.
Same.
But
Yeah.
I was good enough to qualify into other regional and sectional events just based on my high school golf in this inner city school. So it was definitely my passion and my core focus growing up, to the point where I remember writing an essay at Ohio State about um, it was like a position seat on the student body government, and they were like, write what you're most passionate about, and just give us a reason why you should be elected to this board or whatever. And all I wrote about was golf. And the whole time,
Yo.
the lady would sit with me reading, is like, it was such a well written essay,
Yo.
but it talked about golf. I think that's where you need to prioritize. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to do it. Again, my mom forcing me to do this.
Right.
So I've tried out for the OSU for the Ohio State golf team freshman year, and that was like a decision point. That was like my kind of fork in the road, where I no longer stayed with golf as intently, because I had gotten into my major, which required me to be in studio. I was in CRP, landscape architecture, planning, so it like took a lot of intention to make it through that program.
You went
But
to Sawgrass too, right?
yeah, I interned with the PGA Tour during my college years because I had like a golf course architect minor. I like made a degree or like a minor degree up while at OSU, which is what I love. Me and another classmate. So we were
Nice.
interning at um, a local golf course architect here in Columbus. I think Hersden Fry was the name. Now it's Straker Fry, and they're still great dudes. I still talk to them, real randomly, but like got to work on actual golf courses. That summer, which was like it was junior year summer at Ohio State. I went down to the PGA Tour and interned with a whole group of other minority kids. We did
Mm-hmm.
like a 2 month kind of cohort, and we worked through various areas of the business that we were interested in. So mine was like course grass management. So I worked with the team at Sawgrass, and then the the TPC design group. So the people who were architecting all the TPCs like Harding Park and TPC at Cincinnati and TPC Vegas and Summerlin. So I remember seeing like early plans of those courses when I was in college. I had no idea that it was going to be what it is. But
Mm-hmm.
just again, the testament to how golf can put you in spaces where you're just looking around yourself like, I have no business of being here, but I,
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna, this is interesting. It aligns with what I'm trying to do. It's cool. But
Mm-hmm.
practicing, rewinding back to OSU, I tried out for the to walk onto the golf team and missed it by a stroke. So similar to you, Khalid, I was
Mm.
like,
Man,
similar
dang.
to Lee, I was like, man, I guess this year it ended in the cards. I just buckled down and try hard, but then my major ramped up, and I was
Mm-hmm.
required to be elsewhere. My focus and priorities required me to be elsewhere, and that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Like I don't,
Yeah.
I have no regrets beyond just like the fact of that I was able to even compete and be in that space. But to be, that's why I'm so curious to hear your answer, Wyatt. To be a professional in this game requires a level of sacrifice that I don't think most people are willing to do, like especially as you grow up, or like as you
Mm-hmm.
age up rather, in your social grass starts getting married and people are planning weddings and people are moving up the corporate ladder and starting to make income that way, and you're over there like, man, I'm trying to grind to make rent for the
Mm-hmm.
next month. And these cats is over here got two promotions and now he's good for a second. Like
Mm-hmm.
that
Got 401ks and all that.
yeah, people are building up that slow income, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like you see this thing that is a rocket ship to a different lifestyle, a different plateau, but there's a lot of grind and sacrifice and take the steps versus the escalator that is required of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's required of you to get into to get it to the high ranks. So I had a full ride to Hampton for college. Adam still kicks me that I never went. I'd have been on a
Uh,
different I'd have been in a different
Man,
route
that
for
would have been a
golf
whole different life. Yeah.
for
know what I'm
for
saying?
for for golf. So I was like, no, I don't want to leave Columbus. I'm a kid from Columbus. I couldn't see that for me, but like there was
Mm-hmm.
always options. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it worked out for the way it should have, and no regrets.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, man, the game is it don't get no easier. It's full contact, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go now. We want Wyatt go last, but for me, I fell in love with the game immediately, man.
Mm.
Mm.
And we had access, which is most important
Yep.
too, because like I said, going back to these programs that I'm on the board of, like, yeah, it's great. The kids have a lesson once a week, but we had access to Bridgeview 7 days a week where
Period.
we can go and hang out and post
Mm-hmm.
up. So, I mean, I remember at 8 years old writing my parents a note because I would get, I had the keychain, the
Mm-hmm.
rope around my neck with the key at 8.
Yeah.
And I would write them a handwritten note like, hey, Jerry came and got me. I'm at Bridgeview, probably be home around 10. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
so for me, like I experienced success right away as a junior to where like I'm
Understatement.
kicking, yeah, I'm
Understatement.
kicking
Yeah,
ass.
bro.
Like,
Yeah.
if you looked at me during those years, you would be like, okay, this is a Power Five conference college player, and he's probably going to play on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I had broken 70 at 12. I had done all these things, and a kid that's a member at Mirfield Village, like I'm waxing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Put
but
some
this is
respect
where
on it.
I had aspirations to play tour up until maybe I would say 23, 24 maybe. But several things happened. Like I still played basketball. And when you're an underclassman and you get moved up to varsity, people treat you a little differently at school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was still practice, you know what I mean? But my focus wasn't, like you said, there's a different level that it takes. And then looking back, there's the AJGA component. Like we really didn't know about that.
We
were
didn't
the
get,
first
that was a
cohort.
pathway. We never,
Yeah,
That was
like,
big.
and the cost was just out of bounds
Right.
for our
right,
families, you know what I mean?
right,
But we didn't know you play these all summer, you get a couple top 15s, you're going to a Power 5 conference.
period. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me to kind of not take that next step and kind of still play locally and still just hang out at Bridgeview, my game, I kind of regressed or I kind of plateaued. You know what I mean? So you do that plus the kind of hanging out, you know, kind of your game deteriorates. So I went to Hampton on a full ride, but decided to leave and go to Ohio Wesleyan because guys that I grew up with were all on the team, like 1 through 5. So they had the individual national champion like 2 years prior, and they had just finished like 3rd in the national championship the year before. And so I went on a kind of recruitment visit because they would coach at the Duke golf camp. So went there, saw how it was like, man, these guys are high level individuals. I need to be around that. So transferred there. Did decent in college, you know, probably was a 75 average, you know, but again, wasn't like fully committed to the game as I should have been. You know, still worked hard and prioritized the game. But a couple things looking back, like equipment was one. Like when I got a hand-me-down driver from Wyatt when he started touring. I'm like, what is this shaft? You know what I mean? Like, my misses are now in the right side of the fairway, not in the trees. And I remember I played with Jim Thorpe when I was probably like 21. And he's like, man, the ball's just too spinny. You got the wrong equipment. But I don't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, man, I play 3 times a year and I'm hitting the ball better than I ever have because I got better equipment.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't find that shit out till I was 28.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But back, you know, rewind a little bit. So like after college, I'm a recession graduate. You know, so there was no job. So I went and caddied at Muirfield Village. And after my first year, so going into the second season, a PGA Tour player fired his caddy. So they're like, all right, his management, whatever, goes to the caddy master, the head pro, and is like, give us your best guy. So this is my first year, and there's guys been there 30 years, 15 years, like guys that can walk up in the fairway and read a green perfectly. Like I'm not no BS, you know?
Yeah.
And so I take the guy. I'm a little nervous because it's my first time like inside the ropes. We grew up going to the Memorial Tournament.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this is
The Holy
all
Grail.
around.
Yeah.
So 2012, I top 10 with this dude. First time tour event.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Showing this guy hit this shot, this trajectory, low cut, aim it here. I'm reading greens. You know, I'm telling him flight shape, everything, you know?
Fire.
So players in his group were like, yo, man, my buddy's coming out on tour. Here's his number. He's going to be calling you. You know, so there are 2 other guys. And then our friend who's on the women's side, I'm just talking mess. I'm like, hey, you need a looper? Like, I got you, top 5. I loop for her. She gets 4th place. Then makes enough money to go to Q school because she didn't have enough money to go to Q school.
Wow.
Go to Q school with her. She gets her card.
It's
a black woman. There's players with sports psychologists, swing coaches. It's just me and her sleeping on Willie and Christian, Willie Mack and Christian Heaven's floor. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, this caddy shit is easy, bro. You know what I mean? Like this is like plugging it in the computer. You know what I mean? Because my strength was like reading greens. I'm savvy. You know, I'm gonna hit it back then. I'm gonna hit it over the map. But because we didn't have enough money to play all the time, I would be at Champions in the short game area.
Yeah, same.
You know, and then Bridgeview's putting green was so undulated that you learn how to read greens.
Force you to.
Yeah. So I'm like, I still feel like I'm a top 5 green reader in the world. You know what I mean? Like I'll be watching tour events and can see how a guy's lined up on the green, be like, he's gonna miss it low. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just
you got that
immediate
4K
success
or
with
that 8K.
Yeah, immediate success caddying, man. And then the second year I see him at the Honda Classic and he's like, yo, man, you got me again at the Memorial. So we do it again. He actually hits it better the following year, like proximity to the hole. But because of equipment change, he wasn't making putts, but we still make the cut, makes a good check. But I remember like the 2012 Memorial, that's where Tiger won and hit that chip shot on 16.
Went in the
That
hole.
flop shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in the group ahead of him. So I'm walking
Oh,
off
wow.
17 tee box and hear the roar. You know what I mean? Like shit felt like
Crazy.
I was at Ohio State football game.
Tiger Woods was
Yeah.
next
But
level.
long story short, yeah, going into that Sunday final round, you know, it's packed, man. And then what happened is the guy who recruited me from Muirfield to work at a private equity firm was sitting there in his suit jacket. And I'm like, man, I'm with the player and his lifestyle doesn't really match up what I want. Like he's you know, he signs autographs, but like not really all the time to little kids. Because you got to be focused, you got to be locked in. You can't be going into a pressure meeting and signing autographs. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, man, I'm not really built for that. And then I look at his travel schedule and I'm like, I'm not really built for that, you know? And then I see this member who recruited me. I'm like, man, this dude made more money than this dude I'm caddying for right now. And he's a member at this club, this, you know what I mean? I'm like, that matches more of what I want, you know? So it literally was me walking kind of out of the tunnel on a final round of a Sunday in contention and realizing, hey, I don't want to do this. I'd rather be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm probably a single digit handicap, you know what I mean? Without practicing or playing.
Oh yeah, I didn't throw my.
Hustling.
I'm probably a 14. I need to get a new stem. I need to get a new stand.
Wait, where you swinging at nowadays, man? What you on?
man, I was gonna just let that fly under the radar.
I'm the worst out of the group. I feel like, Khalid. You got me, brother.
I mean, I'm single digit now. I'm like around like between like a 6 and an 8, probably. Like on a good day, six around.
I'm gonna look him up on the again right now.
Dang, can't hide, huh? Can't hide.
Right. Let me see where you at. I saw John Robb on there. John Robb on there just tormenting people. I think he was like
plus 8 or something.
+9, bro. I'm like, you don't even need to be out here showing off like that.
Right. Yo,
they
world
really be
ranking
putting, they really be putting their score up like that. Like
he got us up there. Yeah, I started looking at. Somebody told me about it. I was like, why?
Well, those guys play serious money games though, so they
do.
need them. Yeah.
I wonder if Finau's on there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't got time for that. I'm like, bro, we doing this or not? Right?
Yeah.
Like, so I guess I'll kick it off. And I know, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able, because you guys all hit on good points that I want to touch base on, and I hopefully I will come close to remembering half the stuff that I really wanted to say. But one of the things that you said, Adam, was access, right? That we had, a driving range to go to, and then people don't even know. Like we snuck on the course to try to get on because we didn't have money for it. But
buy a hot dog, make it look like you were actually a playing member.
Right? Yeah, you already know what time it is. Go underneath the bridge, sneak under there, try to bro. We on hole number 5. Of course we, But I thought we quote unquote did have access, right? But the older that you get, the wiser that you get, you're like, bro, we didn't have no access. Like, look at what to all you guys said. You were talking like, look, we got these hand-me-down equipments, clubs and everything. Like, bro, we didn't really have access compared to like the other side having the access, the other side being the haves and the have-nots, right? And even we having at least a driving range, like mats to hit off of, like, bro, people had like country clubs. We couldn't even fathom something like that. I can't say I don't want to speak for everyone, but I know I couldn't even fathom some stuff like that. Like having a country club where they had like pools and other amenities, tennis courts and all this, and not only just driving ranges, but not practice
good balls.
yeah,
Right.
semi-flat, so you're not having
Right.
this crazy undulation, like
Yeah.
8 degrees of slope and everything.
Yeah.
That
Shout
people
out
The
get
Nick
on
rain
Dalton.
balls
skateboard.
be going like that. You don't
Nick
want the
Dalton.
rain
Shout out.
balls going like that.
Shout out
Right.
Nick Dalton.
Right,
Nick Dalton had the country club.
right. Big shout out. And then uh, I feel as though so to get, I believe the question was like what it takes to get on. And that you guys said that everyone had their own fork in the road, right? But access would be one of them. True access, right? I call it the 3 pillars. You need access, you need resources, and you need opportunities. And I think the position that Jerry put us in, which was a great foundation. Um, but I feel as though, and he gave us, great lessons and stuff like that. But like, I feel as though like there was like other steps that other people had was their base that we didn't have. Because you guys can't tell me, and I'm not just saying this because I'm being biased, but I'm just saying this because I was able to witness and actually see you guys on this level, and I've been on the insider ropes of things, seeing at the tour, at
Mm-hmm.
major championships. I can say it on both sides of the fence that you guys, if you guys have the same opportunities, access, and resources as other players, you can't tell me that we couldn't, make it inside the ropes, right?
Hmm.
So that I believe that has a huge impact on just the even the mental side of things because like when you guys went to the tryout for OSU, right? When y'all were like, all right, this is like some Eminem, like I got one shot at this. And then if this doesn't work out because I got the weight on my shoulder because, I got my mom's pitting all her resources. I got, my whole tribe and community back behind me, trying to
Mm-hmm.
make me the next one. That's even added pressure that other people didn't even have. They're like, hey, go have fun, work hard, and then, go excel.
Hmm.
So they not only had opportunity, but more importantly, they had the opportunity to fail and that we didn't have that luxury.
That's real. Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm saying? And like I've learned like, so many other things along the journeys and whatnot that like, bro, that's just people's regular. And I'm like, bro, I'm even blessed to even, be chasing this thing
Mm-hmm.
up here where they're like, bro, yeah, I had mommy and daddy, yeah, just go talk to their friends and they just threw a whole bunch of money at me and to go give it a go. Like, bro, do you understand how hard it is to um for where we came from just to get sponsorships and opportunity and funding to and this is not even just in the golf space, this is just in other spaces as well too, whether it be in the music world to get that type of funding or studio time or even engineers, things of that nature. You guys can speak on it better than I can to be in the right rooms to hone your craft that much
Hmm.
better. So quality information means a ton as well too. And then I feel as though that um, the one thing that you guys said, I don't know if you guys heard, well, you guys said it without saying it, that uh, golf, the beautiful game of golf, that golf makes you ask questions about yourself without them even asking you.
Hmm.
So what I mean by that is like everyone, golf is a very cerebral sport. We all know this, right? But
Mm-hmm.
golf gets to the sport where even like nobody can escape, right? You can be, Tiger was the best player in the world, shot in '80s still. Even, whoever the best player in the world is now is going to shoot in the '80s. Like you can't escape it. But it
Mm-hmm.
always asks you that question of, and even this is a Dr. Ross piece that always sticks in my head is like, yo, how bad do you want it? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like you got to play the conditions no matter what circumstances that you have. Like he kind of just built that tenacity. And I think also our surrounding, just that competitive, iron sharpens iron, just
Mm-hmm.
made me like, okay, yeah, I know my back's against the wall. I'm gonna have so much adversity against me, but that's not gonna stop me. Like I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
getting hit, I'm gonna keep getting knocked down, I'm gonna keep getting back up, and I'm gonna keep learning and growing because today's not my last day. This isn't the last time that I'm gonna shoot whatever I shoot. Like
Yeah.
this is not the last time I'm gonna shoot in the 60s. I'm gonna keep showing and improving to get inside the ropes. And I think and it's not even a slight to y'all or by any means, because I think either way is good as well too, whatever lane that you went. But I think for me personally speaking, is that like that's also like made me like I don't know why it just made me like yo I'm gonna keep fighting because I know we didn't truly have a fair shake at this.
Mm.
Um, and like I'm and you're talking about the sacrifices, Carl, of like, bro, what this takes in, like, people having like their 401ks, people getting cribs, married, and things of that nature. Like, I made crazy sacrifices, still making crazy sacrifices. Like, I was just telling, Khalid earlier, like, bro, I'm driving from, South Florida to Vegas right now. And like,
Yeah.
and I can't tell how many times I made that trip, and even like behind the scenes, like I'm doing like all this travel to bang up just to like save bread and things of that nature because it's crazy expensive. This is a crazy expensive sport.
Yep.
And if you don't got it like that, you gotta make certain sacrifices. And people are saying like, "Yo, why isn't there that much representation out on tour?" Well, there's reasons behind it. Not only the white only clause, but they do it on an economical standpoint as well too,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, yo, and who has all the money? If you look in the United States, speaking on, on an ethnicity or yeah, on an ethnicity standpoint, like you see mainly Caucasians have all the money, right? So and then how many people are on the tour that are Caucasians? There's many of those as well too. So it's very deep and layered. If you want to go that deep on some like Kendrick Lamar and dissect it, or you can be, just the surface level, and just always gotta throw one shot.
We're going back. We're going back
There's
to
some
the.
bars.
I'm gonna throw my subliminal.
He said, "I'm giving y'all too many bars. Let me go ahead."
No, the
Yeah.
economics is a big part, man.
It is.
You can look at the population of the tour and look at the net worth of their parents or their families.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Overwhelming majority is going to come from bread, and
You used to look at Sahit.
I try to draw parallels to tennis, but it's not the same because
Yeah.
you just need the court in tennis. But I think that sport has made a concerted effort to kind of level the playing field in terms of sponsorship dollars, and the big brands will kind of attach themselves to a 14-year-old or 15-year-old much more so than golf. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just the sheer mechanics of that game are different. Like courts are available in every neighborhood around the country. You don't have to pay to get access to them.
Yeah.
You go to Dick's Sporting Good, get you a racket, get it gripped, and you can run that thing forever. Like,
I tell people with basketball, imagine if an AAU tournament costs $3,000.
yeah, that's it.
Like how many?
Yeah.
And to go play in the park, it costs you $100 each time you want to go play.
That's crazy.
Like, it'd be still Bob Cousy.
And you have to use a new ball too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Can't bring your own ball. You got to use their ball.
Yeah.
Can't bring,
And the thing that you go ahead, you got it. All right.
I was just gonna say, I know we running up on time, but I did want to kind of piggyback on all y'all's points in regards to access and affordability and where we are in the game right now in regards to like, the next quote unquote Tiger or, the next kind of groundbreaking golfer to bring more of the culture into it. Because we're seeing like, underrated tour, you got Seth Curry really growing the game. We got, J.R. Smith, growing the game and providing opportunities, and different organizations popping up. Do you kind of see, like, I feel like golf is kind of one of those sports that takes like a generation in order to really like grow the game or to expose it to another group, if that makes sense. But I think we're kind of at that point, we're like 30 years removed from Tiger's debut pretty much. And I think it's starting to be kind of some new blood out there that's like, making noise. Is there anybody, that you guys are seeing or, that's kind of bubbling up, or what do you think it would take to kind of like groom that next wave? Hopefully there's multiple Tigers, but what would be that next Tiger? Do y'all see that, bubbling up in the next, 3 to 5 years or so?
Bro, that's like saying,
go ahead. I got to jump off, so I want to get it.
Yeah, that's like saying, like, bro, who's going to be the next Michael Jackson? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Like that's a generational anomaly talent that
Real
like
talk.
records that's just not gonna get broken. And I think people kind of just really use that narrative like always like, yo, who's gonna be the next Tiger? Like, bro, the tour guys are so much better now than what they were back then.
Facts.
No disrespect to the tour guys back then, because obviously they're still tour guys. Like that's even respect in itself. But like it's a different game now. Like people they're more I mean just the threshold of just making it and not making it is so razor sharp thing compared to what it used to be. My bad.
To
So
me,
what
I
were you
just
going to
think
say?
it's money. I think it's money, man.
Mhm.
Because you could take a look at South Korea and look at what Sae Pak to happen in women's golf. You know what I mean? Or KJ Choi. So,
Gary Player, Ernie Els.
yeah, they got the
Yes.
bread. You know, it took one businessman to be like to look at Sae and KJ and be like, oh, I'm gonna dump 50 mil into this. Now go look at an LPGA Tour leaderboard or PGA Tour leaderboard.
Oh
See
yeah,
how many Kims you gonna see on that?
Oh right,
You know what I mean?
Go
Yeah.
Kims and M's. Kims and M's.
Yeah, Kims and M's, bro.
Yeah.
Look at Thailand, Tong Thai Jai D. I remember him seeing him back in the day.
Taking
You know what I mean?
over.
Now how many Thai flags you gonna see on that leaderboard? And most recently the Indian cat.
Right.
Sahith Sagala, all you know what I mean? Like the cat went on the European tour in South Africa.
Ashe
Like
Bhatia.
It's a money thing, man. So that's where like Bill Dickey was headed. Steph Curry's kind of taking it going to the next level. But that was kind of my mission, man. Like I wanted to make it on tour to take what Bill Dickey did and be a multiplier of that.
Yeah.
But now with me living in like, hood adjacent, like my mission is to get to the rec centers, get some kids that are athletically gifted, and it takes money, man. That's a simple fact about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is no secret that we have the athletic DNA to win on the PGA Tour.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that in the world.
By the numbers, the best golfer in the history of the game is a brother. Imagine that.
Crazy.
By the numbers. You exclude this one rubric, which is a big one.
Yeah.
But you exclude it.
Nah, it is crazy how that, that the barrier to entry for golf does have a huge price tag that comes with it. And I think that's what separates it from, a lot of the other sports, where even in some of the other elitist sports, like you said, tennis, is considered somewhat of an elitist sport, but it's still not as expensive as golf, right? Like you don't need a whole bag of clubs. You don't need all the balls, every course is different price tags and things like that. And so, I think, as a culture, as Black and brown folks, get more wealth and generational wealth, I think, we'll be able to create more opportunities for us on the golf course. And hopefully the game will continue to grow outside of the tour too. I think that's really like where the real growth of the game is happening, is like outside of professional golf, like you said, in the rec centers, in the, the simulator spots, like
the fashion as well too.
Like getting those barbershop atmospheres going, and just trying to grow that connection. And so I'm excited, man. I think we at the best point, to where, in the history of the game, I think we're at a inflection point to where, we can really change and make more impact in the game. And, that's why we started this, this platform, is to like really kind of amplify those voices. I'm looking forward to like the guests we're able to bring on. Like we all got connections with some of the biggest voices in the game. Shout out to Doug Smith and Will Lowry and Roger Steele. All the cats moving the needle. So yeah, man, stay tuned for more Do the Right Swing out here with my guys straight from the sea.
Feels good.
Right, first one is
done.
Yeah, right. We probably got like 3 episodes in one tape.
It only took us 8 months.
Part 1 and 2 and 3.
Right. It only took us 8 months, but it was worth the wait.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
That's fire, man. I appreciate y'all. This is dope, man. I'm excited too, man.
Yeah, first
Yes,
to know,
sir.
man.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
here
All
for
right,
it.
y'all. Enjoy your Sundays, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Signing off.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Peace, peace.
Peace,
Yep.
peace.